And we are live. Heck yeah, let's do this. All right, make sure I have everything correct. And I do. Got my coffee. Look at that, the veteran biker coffee. There you go. It's a nice dark roast right now. Uh, Actually, it's probably the worst kind of coffee you can have is decaf. So, and it's gross. But hey, whatever. I do want to say, welcome back, coffee drinkers, freedom lovers, and veteran supporters. I'm Lawrence. I am your bearded host of Coffee and Camouflage. Just so everybody knows what this channel is about. This is a channel where we share stories of veterans over a cup of coffee, with the mission to preserve history. Since a lot of soldiers and all the service members don't really journal anymore. I just like to bring people on and talk to them about their service. I also want to help combat the 22 a day suicide rate among veterans. So this is a safe place for veterans in this community where no veteran feels alone. Every story matters. So yeah, grab your cup of coffee and sit back and relax, and let's talk a little bit tonight. So I wanted to do some fun stuff and talk about some of the changes that I saw on the VA news, because I get a weekly VA newsletter through my email. So it's a veteran channel, and I want to support veterans and help get the word out, because not everybody actually like checks their mail. So we'll do that. And hi, Guyman. And I also want to share something about this coffee. So heck yeah, this coffee, not the coffee I'm drinking right now. When I used to live in Korea, they had these what do you call it? The instant coffee, and the instant coffee was called Maxim. So my daughter, it's her 13th birthday today, so it's awesome. But she asked for it because it's super delicious. So if you ever find Maxim coffee, they come in these little tubes. Just fill it with some, fill it with water or milk or whatever you want to do and drink it. Um, she really loves them. There's only like 26 bucks for 100 packets of it, so it's super good to do. Yeah, Maxim coffee. I don't know what it says underneath it, but it's super delicious. But yeah. So I wanted to take this time and just talk a little bit, tell everybody how everybody's going. I had a good day today. Got up for let's see, I got up for church with my daughter because that's what she wanted to do for her birthday. She wanted to go to church. Then I mowed the lawn, all 4.5 acres of it. There's still quite a bit for my son to do. I took a nap after that because the sun got to me. And then I just took them to Red Lobster. And I'm going to tell you what, Red Lobster, super expensive. And I don't know if it's really worth it. Is it like Japan coffee or something? Actually, I'll tell you what, Japan coffee, there's a product in Japan called Georgia coffee. Georgia coffee is the best coffee you will ever have in your life, and it comes from a vending machine. Super good. They have all sorts of flavors. I like black coffee mostly, but yeah, Georgia coffee. I have tried to ask people that I know that are still in Japan to like send me a case of it, but it's super expensive to get it by the case, especially on the bases. So no one's ever sent it to me. It's like $150 for a case of Georgia coffee, but it's super worth it. A lot of people would put it in boiling water. They'll put the pot on the stove. They'll boil it up to get it to temperature without making it explode. So it's like a slow boil. Super good. It's one of my favorite coffees ever. But yeah, that Maxim coffee is good. And then I became an affiliate with Blackout Coffee. I've been using this one. This stuff will wake you up. I like dark roasts. I used to like Folgers dark roast. I still do, but I don't drink it as much anymore. But yeah, that Blackout coffee, super super duper delicious. So if you want to do it, just go to Blackout Coffee and shameless plug here. Type in the word camo at the end, and or camo for your code, and you get 20% off. So do that if you're into coffee. So what I wanted to do is actually go over a little bit of VA news, and I wrote some notes down so we don't have to go through all of the what's it called? All of the I'm blanking. Look at this. I get on the stage and I start blinking. Uh, all of the articles, so I can just like highlight everything. So if you ever want to go and do some VA news, let's do this. Let's add this to the stage. Let's see, is it on the stage? Can you see it? Let's see, because I can't see it. Oh, 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 something's slowing down here. Did I freeze? Add to stage. I don't know. I don't know if that's working. All right. So, oh my goodness gracious. This is embarrassing. It's all right. We'll work through it. All right. Let's see. Let's try this one more time. It's not working. All right. We'll remove it. Yeah. Um, are you guys seeing the screen change? 'Cause I'm not seeing a change. Oh my goodness. Okay. I don't want more layouts. I just want it to work. So I live out in the country. I live in between two cities. I live 10 miles from the place that has my zip code and 10 miles from Lawrence, Kansas. So I'm not seeing a change. Okay. So I get horrible internet sometimes. So we're working through it. You saw the VA screen come up briefly. So we're going to try it one more time. So hello from Indiana. Nice. Welcome. I like Brutal Awakening too. Add to stage. Maybe it's going to take a second. Anyway, so yeah, living out in the country is great. Um, we moved here from Texas, and the pace of life in Kansas compared to like the Dallas, Texas area was super nice. Uh, it's not as high. Oh, there it is, right there. It's not as fast paced, so slowing it down after constantly moving whenever we're doing stuff with the army. Moving from New England to Texas, constant freaking traffic and everything else like that. To moving to Kansas, the Northeast Kansas area, about 50 miles from Kansas City, and it's mostly country and it's super nice. It's not as busy. All right, so the first one I wanted to talk about was the new mental health copayment exemptions, which is super great for people that are like dealing with PTSD and everything else. So the highlights after I read it, I literally just wrote a few bullet points per one that I want to talk about. So the VA has implemented new copayment exemptions for outpatient mental health and substance abuse disorder care. The initiative aims to reduce financial barriers for veterans seeking mental health treatment. So if you need to go out and talk to a mental health professional after you talk to the VA, they will help you do that. And then when you get there, you don't have to pay the copay anymore. So they're trying to get the stigma out of wanting to go to talk to people and having to pay for it as well. So you can actually go. So veterans in suicidal crisis can now receive free emergency health care, which I didn't know at the very beginning. I didn't know that if you were suicidal and you decided you needed to go and get mental health while you're at the emergency room, that they would actually charge veterans to do that. So them actually getting free emergency health care is super great plus now. So that was something the VA did. So that's a good news story. They can also get inpatient care for up to 30 days and outpatient care for 90 days after. So you're looking at 4 months of actual care that's you don't have to pay for. So if something's going on in your life and you feel like I need to go to the emergency room and get something done or get diagnosed with something, and the next 4 months the VA is going to flip the bill for you. Uh, that's going to be super helpful. Um, yeah, so that's the move is a part for the VA's broader strategy to prevent veteran suicide and improve access to care. I mean, I know a whole bunch of people that do have PTSD. They do suffer in silence, and not every veteran is well to do, I guess, after they get out, or they have financial struggles and everything. So, being able to go talk to someone and not have to worry about paying a copay, even though sometimes copays are small, it's still big coming out of your wallet if you're not planning on anything like that. So that's good. So, if you want to read up more, I'd ask you to go to the VA news and get more in depth in it. But if you use the VA for your healthcare, I do. My fam, even though I retired and I have TRICARE for life, I like the benefit of actually going to the VA. One of the big benefits for the VA is I don't have to pay for my pills, and I take a lot of pills, which is unfortunate. But I've gotten off a lot of it through diet and exercise and trying to get back into shape. But one of the cool things about the VA prescriptions is they renew automatically and they send it through the mail, so you don't have to go to Walmart, Walgreens, or CVS or anything like that. So they have this application on your phones, My Healthy Vet, and if they don't send you a text to say that, hey, your blank whatever needs to be refilled, do you want to refill it? Yes or no? All you have to do is go on the app and say, hey, refill this, and they'll send it up through the mail, which is really good. MyHealthyVet.com. So the next one, let's see, how do we change it? We'll stop that, and then we'll go to present, share screen again. Share screen. The next one is the home ownership. Path to home ownership. Where are you? Ovarian cancer. Path to home ownership. Sure. So that should pop up in a second. But yeah, I do like the VA. The doctor that I go to, she's super helpful, and I've been able to see her for the last 3 years. That's one thing I do like about what I said do like about the VA. Their doctors don't change as much as the military doctors when you go through the military. So you can have, if you're on a military base, most of the veterans know this. When you're on the military base, your PCM, your primary care physician, can actually move quite a bit. And next thing you know, your doctor's appointment that you go in 1 month, you're going to see 3 different doctors in a year, and there's no continuity in your care. So they're always, when you get up there, you have to talk to them. It's like, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, and you have to repeat yourself numerous times. So far with the VA here in Lawrence, Kansas, I've seen the same doctor for the last 3 years after retirement. So um but the first year after retirement, it was a moving, I moved from Texas up here. So, and the I don't even know if I had a primary care physician because I was going through the whole, what do you call it, the VA evaluation to get my rating. So it's great, but having a VA person is great. Let's see. I use my Healthy Vet. Uh, use my Healthy Vet for my prescriptions and to check out my appointments. Yes, super helpful. Um, Once you retire, I would say do that and stay on top of it. And it also, one of the cool things about My Healthy Vet is once you sign up for it, you can actually go through and check your appointments. But it also puts you all the way through all of the VA stuff. So if you need to like download your disability letters, if you need to go and get your educational benefits and everything else, it's a one login for everything, which is nice. And I do not know why this is not working. I apologize for this not working. So let's see. I hit present. So I don't know if you guys can see the whole health path to ownership because it's not popping up on mine, but it says it has a window on here that it's opened up. So that's all right. Technical difficulties. So on the website, I can talk it. Let's see. Sure. I'm going to try it one more time. Let's see. Stop sharing. Okay. Maybe that was it. Share. Man, when the veteran biker does this, he doesn't have all this stuff. He has a better freaking internet connection, I bet, or a better computer. Anyway, so the title of the VA news article is "The Whole Health Plan to Home Ownership," and what it is the VA is promoting an approach to veteran care which includes supporting home ownership. The whole health program focuses on integrating personal goals and wellness into healthcare plans, which can also encompass financial well-being and stability, including owning a home. This approach recognizes that stable housing is a critical component of overall health and well-being. The VA is working to provide veterans with the resources and support needed to achieve home ownership. So, what they're saying in this is, uh, when you get to own a home, you have a lot of stuff that goes off your mind. Are you getting when you own a home? Do you sleep better? You eat better because you're not always going out. Uh, you have better energy in your life, a better area to stop and relax and rest, a place to bring coworkers over, families and friends to actually, boost up your stuff. Oh my goodness! And now I'm off the screen. What is going on here, man? I think I'm going to stop trying to do that for a minute. Let's see, a funny story. Every time I try to log in, we'll bring it up here. I try to log into the VA. It's like 3-day process because I always forget my password, and it's like breaking in. Oh my goodness, yes. Um, what is it? What is that called? Login.gov or whatever. I have, yeah, funny stories. I've tried to log in numerous times, and it is like trying to get into Fort Knox. It sucks. I have it written down in my phone, in my notes to be like, "Hey, this is what my password is," and then you try it like 5 or 6 times, and it's like, "Nope." You're like, "Oh, come on, dude, for real." Yeah, eat cereal, and I own a home. Life of a bachelor. I feel you. I think a lot of people do that because if you're not gonna feed a whole family, you might as well, live cheap if you can and eat what you like. I agree with you. Man, this is gonna, like, ruin I'm not gonna say ruin the whole freaking like, the whole live series because I can talk, but, I was planning on going through memes and, talking all this stuff. Let's see, social workers, can I share this screen? Please, for the love of God. I don't know. Maybe I need to use a different computer. I have a different laptop sitting next to me that I maybe the next one I can do on this one. But I planned on going through all these VA news stories that I read and being like, hey, this is what the news story is, and this is what I got out of it, and this is something you can use as a tool for yourself. And then after that, I did the coffee review already, so that was fun. Again, if you're just joining us, I see there's a few more people on here. If you haven't ever tried this Korean coffee that we got, Maxim Coffee. It's not sponsored or anything. I just freaking love it, and my kids love it. Maxim Coffee. It comes in a little pouches of 100 each, and it's only like 26 bucks on Amazon. Maxim Coffee. If you like coffee, it's delicious. Um, what's it? And then I was gonna go through some. Is it strong? Not really. It's smooth and it has everything mixed in it. It already has the sugar and cream, so it's like the perfect consistency if you get the gold one. If you get the red package, the one that's just black, it is kind of strong. So you'll probably only like drink 2 packets a day because it'll start getting you a little bit wired. But it's really good. I like it. It's got a great flavor to it. It's not acidic, which is super great. Like some of the dark roasts that I drink, like Folgers, I can only like drink 1 or 2 cups before I start getting freaking heartburn from it. So that Maxim coffee is really really good. Um, and then I was gonna go through some memes because memes are fun, and why don't we all make fun of ourselves and do that? I wonder if I close this. All right, let's see if that'll speed everything up. It's not doing anything. Oh well. Yeah. Um, what else? What else can I talk about? It's not sharing. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna quit trying to share. So what else is here? The thing that was on there, there was another thing about telehealth, which is super great. If you've never worked with the VA telehealth, they're really good about getting back to you because they actually do have nurses and everything that are on standby 24 hours a day. So that's one of the benefits from it. So they have an accessibility to a VA sleep medicine now. Um, so a lot of people, when they're trying to get out of the military, they hear that if you go up and you get a sleep study done and you get rated for having sleep apnea, it's an automatic 50%. Thanks, Tony. Um, which is true, but it's actually super hard to do because once you get into the VA system to get your your sleep apnea, you have to get the sleep apnea machine, and then once you get the sleep apnea machine, you have to use it. And they have this the machine now, you have to insert a memory card to it, and it tracks your sleep cycles. And I don't know if it's monthly or every 90 days that you actually have to turn it into the VA for a certain amount of time so they can actually like do a study on your sleep patterns so they can see what they can do to help you. So of the what just happened? I'm gonna stop sharing that. We'll just talk it. So the VA has expanded its telehealth services to include specialized sleep medicine care, which is great. Um, this expansion allows the veterans to receive consultations and follow-ups on their sleep disorders remotely. So instead of having to say, like, if I lived in Alvarado, Texas, where I came from before here, I would have to drive to Fort Worth, into the downtown Fort Worth, just to do anything. And trying to do that, even though like Alvarado was like 20 minutes outside of Fort Worth, it took like an hour to get there. So, and then they have to pay you mileage and everything else. So they're trying to actually save money by allowing people just to, do it remotely because they're trying to cut stuff everywhere. So it increases the accessibility to those who have difficulty traveling. So, and like, there's not VA centers everywhere else. So, again, they're trying to cut down on the distance and the money they'll have to pay out. Uh, let's see. Yeah, so that's a good thing on there. Yeah, I went in for I went in for the sleep apnea, and I didn't have to I don't know what it was. I didn't They did a whole bunch of tests, but I didn't have to I stayed there for I think it was 4 hours during yeah, I stayed there for 4 hours because they had to hook stuff all over my head and they showed me how to use the machine, and then they sent me home with it. And I had to sleep with it for 5 days, and that was the worst sleep I have ever had because I couldn't get comfortable, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna fail this thing," and just kept going through my mind. I was like, "What am I gonna do?" So when I got it done, I didn't get a rating for sleep apnea because I was taking sleeping pills anyway during that time because I had trouble sleeping, and the PTSD was like stopping me from sleeping well. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take my pills anyway, and I didn't get diagnosed with it. I'm like, whatever. I had enough, like all of my ratings combined. I guess I had it after they added it up is like over 570%, and they're like, oh, you're 100% total and disabled, and I'm like, oh, or total and permanent. I'm like, yeah, thanks, I appreciate it, but I didn't get anything for sleep apnea, so it really doesn't matter to me. Um, See, I got my sleep apnea machine through Fort Belvoir. You know, Fort Belvoir for me was really cool when I was retiring. Um, the year before I retired, I found out that I can go and get LASIK done, but I got the smile surgery, so it wasn't as invasive. And when I filled out the form, they're like, "Do you have at least 18 months left in the army to get this done?" I had less than 9. Don't tell anyone. But I was like, yeah, sure. And that was my gift to myself was smile surgery and the vision correction. I had to stay a few days over in Fort Belvoir for it, so it was pretty cool. I liked it. And I did it in 2019, and I still see great, except if I go. I don't know what's happening to the screen now. It's going out, so it's probably trying to share something, put something on the stage. So if it messes up, I apologize. There we go. Now it's back. Says Let's see what Tony says. I've been diagnosed with OSA and prescribed a CPAP. They did not monitor mine anymore because no matter what I tried, I kept ripping my mask off in my sleep. My dad did the same thing. He would have it on, and he snored so bad, and mostly he was super overweight too. But he would snore so bad that it would block. It wasn't helping him, so he would rip it off his face, and then when he would take it into the VA to get it read, they were like, you don't have full readings and everything else. And he was like, I can't sleep with that thing on, and yeah, so he stopped doing it too. Obstructive sleep apnea. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if he had that, but it scared him every time he put it on because he would wake up in a panic in the middle of the night. He couldn't breathe. Um, I think he had a little bit of claustrophobia too, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, he would hate it, and I'm thankful I never really had to do that. I mean, before I go to bed, I take about 8 different pills. So, and then sometimes you take the extra pills, and you're like, I wonder if this actually goes with what I'm doing. And then you do the Google search, and next thing you know, you're on WebMD, and it's like, you shouldn't take this stuff. And then you're like, oh, my liver can handle it. So you take it anyway, and next thing you know, you wake up groggy, but you feel better. That happens when I push myself a little bit too hard in the gym. Um, like the last week, I was at the gym, and I think we were doing deadlifts or something, and I already have a bad back, and I try not to actually like push myself too hard with my son. I take my 14-year-old son with me to the gym because he's super into weightlifting right now. He wants to do powerlifting. He's also an aspiring baseball player, so he wants to grow his legs and get his core stronger so he can throw a little bit harder. But yeah, so we were in the gym, and I think I deadlifted a little bit too much. I normally try not to lift any more than 225 pounds because I'm like, you know what, I know myself enough. But oh man, I hurt myself, and I think I pulled a muscle, or I aggravated my sciatic, and it was hard to stand for like 5 days. It was bad. So I took all my meds, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a muscle relaxer along with all the meds that I normally take to sleep. And it helped me sleep. But I woke up, and, by 9 a.m. after I was at work, I was wanting to take a nap and close my door and do everything else. So sometimes you shouldn't mix medications unless you know what you're doing and you have doctor's stuff. So let's see what Thomas says. I stay busy so I don't get depressed. Yeah, that's one of the keys right there. I went on a Legion rider run yesterday, 178 miles to 10 cities, almost 11 hours. Holy cow! I was a sore cowboy. Oh my goodness. So a Legion rider, that's with the American Legion riding on a motorcycle with everybody else. Yeah, sounds super fun. I was thinking about rejoining uh, the the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association because I do miss the camaraderie, but I don't miss the drinking. Yeah, I try to keep myself busy too. My kids keep me busy. I have 5 kids at home, or sorry, 4 kids at home. I have 5 total. So my wife keeps me pretty busy, so I don't really get depressed. But sometimes work gets me, and then you know the back and forth with the kids. You're like, dude, calm the hell down. I'm just trying to do my best, and they bring you down. So mine is just, I don't know. My depression mostly works around work, and I've always been a perfectionist when it comes to my work. So if something doesn't go right, I pull myself down, and I'm like, oh my god, the end of the world's happening. And then I just have to keep telling myself, people go through everything that you're going through, so it's going to be all right. And normally it works out that way. Let's see. Let me turn this one off. Man, I'm super green over here. Nope. Off. All right, that's better. Let's see what Guyman says. I can't lift anymore or heavy anymore to a pacemaker. Oh my goodness! But hopefully, I make up for the old man strength. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't have a pacemaker, That's some serious stuff right there. Um, but I do try to. I what was that? I learned from Chris Bumstead. I follow Chris Bumstead a lot. He's the current reigning five-time Mr. Olympia physique winner, and he one of his videos he stated, chase the pump, but don't chase the weight. So after I hurt myself last week, I just made sure that I was chasing the pump and just lifting the lift instead of trying to outpace my 14-year-old son. I mean, that kid, he's 14. He can squat 315 for two. So I was like, what, I'm not doing that either. So what do you got, Tony? Says I'm starting in the VRE program. Okay, I am too. I'll talk about that. Going back to college to obtain my bachelor's degree in graphic design, even though I'm 61. Awesome. So I never knew about the VR. Okay, I never knew about VRE. Even I've been retired only 4 years, so it's not like I know every benefit that's out there, but I'm learning. So hold on. I was at a I was at what's it called? Here at the University of Kansas, they call it junior days. So they bring in all the junior high school students in, or the juniors in high school that are getting ready to be seniors, so they can actually get a college experience and see if they want to come to KU and apply and everything else. And I was right next to the military affiliated student center, so our VA center on campus. And I was talking to him. I was like, you know what? I love recruiting and I love everything I do, but carrying all these signs and everything else is starting to get onto my back, and having to carry it upstairs, pull hundreds of pounds of like booklets and stuff to give out to people. I was like, it's really tearing me down. I'd love to get a different job and do something else. So the VA rep, I guess you want to call them the military. They call it the mask rep, military affiliated student center mask. The mask rep was like, "Have you ever heard of VRNE?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh man, you're 100% disabled, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You should really look into it. It's a veterans rehabilitation and education employment program." I was like, "Okay." And he goes, where are you at with your GI Bill?" And I'm like, "Dude, I think I've used up my whole GI Bill and I have 5 months left on it." So he was like, "Yeah, you can apply for it." So the VRNE is a super cool program. So it is a vocational rehabilitation and employment program. So they'll take and see if they can put you into a new job or help you get the education for a new job to change careers to help you with your disability. So far, and it's a long process. You have to sit there with a counselor. They'll evaluate you. After they evaluate you to whether or not they want to put you into the program, then they send you to a different counselor. And or no, sorry, let's back up. Once they evaluate you that you can participate in the program, then you have to go to this orientation. And the orientation is an hour long, and they sit there and they tell you about all the benefits of URNE and if you qualify or what you can use it for and what it's not supposed to be used for. They're telling you it's not supposed to be an educational benefit, but it helps if you can. So after that, uh, what is it? After you go through the orientation, you get like put with a counselor, and then the counselor will like talk to you. Hey, what are your limitations at work? What happens here? And I kept telling him. He's like, uh, I told her. She was like, so what are your main limitations? I was like, well, if I stare at a screen too long, I start getting migraines, and then I'll have to lay down at work, or if I'm carrying all these heavy freaking equipment to go anywhere, my back hurts. My building that I'm in doesn't have was built in 1941, and it doesn't have an elevator, and it has one, two, three, four flights of stairs, and the flights of stairs. I went into everything, and then she went through all of my disabilities, and she's like, "Oh my God, you qualify for it. Do you want to do it?" And the cool thing about it is, she asked me what I wanted to do, and I was like, "I want to be a licensed clinical social worker for the VA upon graduation." She's like, "Well, what do you have to do for that?" I was like, "Well, there's a master's of social work here at the University of Kansas I'd like to do." And she was like, "Okay." So we talked about it, and she qualified me for it. So uh, you get You get your GI Bill completely back, which they use for to pay for it. They pay for everything. You get BAH on it. If your course that you're taking, so let's see, Tony, you since you're a graphic designer, they're probably going to buy your computer for you because if you need a computer for it, they give you I don't know if it's a blank check or if it's like they pay you or whatever it is, or they just reimburse the school. But you take this like coupon and you take it to like the university store and say, I want this MacBook Pro 15 super high end or whatever it is your school says that you need for the course, and they buy your computer for you and any software you need. If you're going for like photography or whatever, they'll buy your cameras. It's all sorts of like they're just getting you ready to do the next career that you're doing. So it's a super benefit if you're disabled and you need a new job or anything else like that, and your current job that you need re-education and training to do. I would look into the VR and the vocational rehabilitation and education or employment program through the VA. So Thomas says, I'm 69, US USMC retired and Army veteran, 78. Wow. So so you were right on the very end of Vietnam. Man, thank you for your service. I mean, going in 1974 during Vietnam, right before the pullout, man, that's impressive. A lot of people wouldn't do that now. Yeah, so VRNE is pretty cool. Yeah, BAH, yeah, GI Bill, VAH, and everything else. Subsistence pay, yes, it's going to be it's super nice. The only problem is right now for VRNE, the stipulation they have is you have to be a full time student. So I was going to start in the fall, and but I chose the part time thing, so I would only have to take 6 hours, and then I had my VRNE like what is it? I had my consultation with my rep on Friday, and she was like, "You have to be full time." So I had to stop and say, "Okay, I need to talk to my counselor and see if I can start in the spring, so I can do stuff with work and everything else and get the time off." Is there a VA a VRNE rep at the VA? There is. Let's see. How would you get a hold of them? You can look up VRNE on their website, and or if you go into educational benefit, it's chapter 31, your chapter 31 benefits through VRNE. Look that up and you can apply through there or go to the VA office. Or if you're close to a university or anything, Mary, I would call their VA rep. And normally they have someone that represents the VA on a college campus that can help you out with that. They're super smart about it too. Um, that's one thing I do like about having it there. You can talk to them about anything. Your chapter 30, the chapter 36, which is another cool thing for all the veterans on here. If you're still in the military, I said it in one of my other videos, which is like super important. If you're still serving right now and you want to transfer your post 9/11 GI Bill to your family, you have to have at least 4 years left on your enlistment or 4 years left in your time in service before you can actually take it. So, um, even if you don't think you're going to give it to your family and you still have that long and you're married, give at least 1% or $1 to your wife so you can hold it off and you can actually make changes all the way through. So that's one of the things they don't teach you while you're actually serving is to actually just do that. So if you got the post 9/11 GI Bill, I would do that. Let's see. Yes, you have to be at least 10% service connected disability to be eligible for VRNE. And then they sit down. You have to fill out a form that tells you. Let me keep that up there so people can see. You have to fill out a form and list all of your disabilities and how that disability affects the current work that you're in. And then they review it, and then they review it with you, and then they make their determination off of that. So as long as you have, at least a disability rating of at least 10, they will talk to you. Let's see. I'm 100% disabled and retired. How does this impact the VA? It doesn't. Not nothing. Nothing affects it. So you're entitled to it, um, as long as they deem you. It's gonna like if your disabilities affect your job, you're entitled to use the VRNE program as long as you can articulate what your problems are. So mine, I'm 80% disabled. My VA rating for my migraines is 80%. So because I get migraines daily, I take 4 different pills for my migraines. Staring at screens and all that stuff, like exacerbates it at work. So after I talked with them, they contacted work and said, "Hey, work, you need to get him blue blocker screens for his screen, like so the blue light does mess up my eyes and all that stuff." And they had like all sorts of accommodations they do. So it's not just getting you a new job; they actually work with you to get accommodations at your job, your current job, to help you perform your job if you don't want to move, which is great. Mhm. You do need to be able to work in the career field you're looking at. So, yeah, that was one of the big things. You also have to take this personality test or whatever it is. It's like a career skills test. They ask you all sorts of questions, and it's like 150 questions long, and it's kind of like the same questions over and over, and they're just trying to gauge what your skill set is. And mine came up like clerical and like service driven, and they were like, uh, you qualify to be a police officer or something like on there. And I was like, yeah, police officer is one of the things I wanted to do when I got out of the military. And but I know personally I can't do it as much as I want to do it. I would do it right now if they let me, but my body wouldn't be able to hold up and do it. So and you like Tony said, you have to be able to do the job that you're trying to do. So if I wanted to, like Tony said, he's going into graphic design. If I wanted to go into film school or whatever, I would have to like put it. Sorry about that. I would have to put my job towards like film editing or something like that, not going out and be like a grip or like construction worker or something like on a set. It would have to be something that my disabilities are able to go. So that's why I want to go into. I really want to help veterans is what I want to do in life. So sitting there, through this channel, and then I told him I was like, I'd like to go be a licensed social worker and help veterans at the VA, and then if I can start doing that and use that knowledge that I learned while I'm in the VA and put it out here on this channel and help more people that I can't reach in the office would be good. And since all my disabilities are lend to desk jobs and talking to people, being a social worker and everything, pushing papers, not going to like ruin my ruin my body, and I'm not going to be like carrying recruiting supplies anywhere. They were like, yeah, we can do that one. So I was pretty happy about that. Man, that was a good conversation about VRNE. Yeah, I liked it. So yeah, but if you're interested, look into it. Contact just contact the VA. I like the VA. It's great. I haven't had any complaints about it. The medical's always been good. They're super responsive. The only problem with the VA is there's a lot of paperwork when it comes to doing anything. So that's cool. So let me see if I can. Does anybody have any more questions on that one? That's a good one. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try and do this. Oh, this one was cool. Let's see. I don't know if there's too many ladies that watch this because most of the demographics that I've seen like who tunes in to actually watch or actually watch my videos are men. But there's a thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Robin. Coffee on you. Shared on X to help you get more followers. I appreciate that. Always looking to get more followers, and once the channel pops off and gets to where I can, I plan on supporting all these veteran organizations and doing all the good stuff. Oh, you didn't hijack my video. I appreciate it. It was a great topic. Thanks, Tony. Once we start getting going, you know how. um since everybody knows a veteran biker and probably watched him do his Trump thing today. Um, he donates to the Trump campaign when he comes on. He does it live on there. I plan on doing stuff like that too. We start getting super chats at the end of the super chat because I think YouTube pays you on the 21st or whatever. On the 21st of every month, we'll get on here and we'll be like, all right, this much money if we got from super chats, it's going to the Wounded Warrior Project. This is going to the VA Vet Center here. This is going here. This is going here. So I'm going to make sure it's super transparent to where everybody sees where everything is going. Let's see. I'm driving home from the lake right now and had to choose between thrashing on some Creed. There you go. And listening to the live stream. I chose the live stream. Guyman, you're a great American. I appreciate that. I like Creed. Creed's coming back. I don't know if they're going to be like recording a new album or if they're just going on tour. We were actually lit. Yeah, Creed came on when I was driving the kids to Red Lobster. So I'm glad you like them too. Fantastic. So going back to this, there's a thing about veterans in the, let's see, I'm going to try one more time. Share screen. Um, Share. Maybe now that we're in. And it's not going to share. Whatever. So there's this veterans ovarian cancer treatment at the VA. This one was really good. The VA is going to start providing comprehensive treatment options for veterans diagnosed with ovarian cancer, including specialized care and clinical trials. So, I don't know if there's very many ladies out there, or if you know a whole lot of female veterans, but know that they're getting new and more advanced ovarian cancer treatments there. So it's going to be focused on early detection and advanced treatment options still that and that aims to improve outcomes for veterans. I wrote this and it's hard for me to read. Uh, Veterans with ovarian cancer. This highlights the VA's commitment to providing high quality healthcare towards female veterans. Anyway, I don't know why I make myself read stuff that I write sometimes. Yeah. So pretty good day today. I was going to go through some memes. I do have, let's see. I do have did I put it on here? I do have a Discord, but I am not very good at Discord. So I don't know if I want to share it, but it's on there. I don't know how to like search it or anything and give the link out. I'll have to ask Ben how to do that. Um, Yeah, thanks, Mary. I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate everybody sharing, talking, telling your friends about it. It's great. I hope you have a great night. Thanks for stopping by. Um, yeah, so I'll try and figure out this, or I might next time I might just use a different computer so I can see if the share screen works on that, and we can actually get some fun stuff on there because I actually had a couple videos too that made me laugh. Um, yeah, and we'll do this again. It is, and it's after 9, and I think my daughter is at a pool party right now for the public. She's part of a youth soccer. They have a soccer club out here, and they're doing a youth party. So she's out there. My wife's with her, and I have 3 kids at home. So it's great. And I haven't heard anything in the since I've been down here. So Lord knows what they're doing. Um, what else happened today? I went to church. I told Guyman on, I was he commented on one of the videos. I did a short. I'm trying to expand everything, and one of the things that the YouTube creators say is, hey, create shorts because shorts gets a lot of videos or a lot of like quick quick looks and it like drives. Um, my goodness, what am I trying to say? Drives looks at your channel. So I was like, all right, I did that. And then he commented on there. Went to church for the first time in 12 years or so, I think, because the last time I went that I remember was in Korea. So I might talk to him about church stuff because I know he was talking a little bit about scripture and everything else last time he was talking to Ben. Who's Creed? Oh man, so this is the type of people I like here. I know the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks, the Animals, the Who, the Animals. There is a house in New Orleans. I love that song. The Doors, Jethro Tull, Jefferson Airplane, and the Hollies. Man, all the stuff that I listen to. Creed is a '90s rock band. A lot of Christian music from them. Super good. They had a falling out, so they broke up but they're trying to come back. So they're really good. I liked them. They tried to what are they? They're comparing them to Nickelback, the 2000s. They're like, oh, they're the Nickelback of the '90s. I don't think so. They're a lot better than Nickelback. They're actually worth the listen. And they sing "My Own Prison." Look them up. You'd like them. Let's see what's this. Fingers crossed. Tomorrow afternoon, I'm online in CP exam in regards to increasing my mental health rating. Oh yeah, good luck with that, man. Just trying to get any rating upgraded. I saw a video today that I didn't watch, but I put for my save later. It was like, um, do not do not appeal ratings in 2024 for the VA, and I'm like, what? Why wouldn't you? Go and try and get everything that you can upgraded. When my dad got when my dad retired, he got 80% disabled. And I told him, I was like, dude, you need to go appeal that and try to get it to 100. Because mostly when you get your initial, yeah, I think it is just clickbait. When you do get your initial rating and everything, you need to fight for everything that you can. Especially once you get 80%. I'm not sure if it's 70 or 80% threshold when dealing with the VA, but most of the time when you hit that, get automatically reviewed for 100%. And then, there's a couple ratings and once you get to 100%, there's 100% disabled, which is reviewable. Then there's the 100% total and permanent, which you don't get reviewed. I think the 100% with nothing on it, they review you after 5 years, and then you get the 100% unemployable. Total and permanent unemployable. So I would fight for everything that you can whenever it comes to that. If they tell you to go to a if they tell you to go to an appointment, go to an appointment. Talk to your veteran friends, find out what they do. Yeah, apply for TDIU and get paid the 100% level. I would. I'm told. I tell you, um, I was. I don't know. I can't say I was lucky, but I was broken. I was talking to, or I chatted with someone on one of the comments on one of the videos, and he was 100%. Might have been Thomas or someone. I don't remember who it was. Um, Yeah, that's one of the things I'm bad at remembering people. I talk to a whole lot of people every day for recruiting. I had a kid come up to me at the table and he was like, "I talked to you 3 months ago," and I'm like, "Dude, you know how many people I've talked to in 3 months?" But I'm glad you're back. Um, yeah, I don't remember what I was going on that one. Anyway, I'm at 80% but paid at 100 because no employer will hire me with that. Some. Oh man. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. The day that I knew that I had to retire. Yeah, if someone falls down, hardly anybody's going to hire you unless you're like strapped to a chair and you're there. The day I knew I had to retire, I was and it's weird too because I was teaching at Providence College up in Rhode Island. I was an assistant professor in military science, so I was teaching ROTC, and now I'm in the ROTC field. So recruiting for them. I I was laying down in bed. I woke up getting ready to go to PT and I couldn't get out of bed. My back hurt so bad. And I had to like look over to my wife and I was like, you need to pick me up and get me out of bed so I can go to work. And, I grabbed her hand and I was trying to pull myself up and it's just like strain on my back was so bad. I was just like, almost to the point of tears. And, I was so, but at that time I was in so much pain. I was being mean to everybody. And, I got up and got in the car. I drove, 29 miles from Newport, Rhode Island to Providence to go to work. Took me an hour and a half. Drove the hour and a half to PT. And right after PT, I was in so much pain. I just walked around the track. This is how vivid this memory is. I remember. Instead of going to shower and do anything else, I walked straight into my office, logged on the computer, and did every piece of paperwork to retire. I was like, I just can't do it. I had just hit 23 years, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Yeah, I know. It happens to me. I've had so many concussions in life. I think a little bit faster than I talk, and I do lose myself during mid speech. So if I've ever talking to someone, it happens during interviews when I'm talking to like new recruits and everything else. I'll sit there and I'll be like, I forgot what I was going to say, and then I'll drift off, and I'm like, all right, and then I'll have to stammer and like mumble to myself to remember where I am. My problem with trying to increase my disability rating is every time I'm confused with the form. Yes, they don't really. My brain just completely shuts down. It's like a writer's block and complete. Oh my God, I'm here with you on this one. Uh, I find myself lately too. Simple forms and anything that I tried to read is like reading Mandarin Chinese. I don't know if it's ADHD, if it's the meds I'm on, or anything. The simple act of trying to focus on anything, like paperwork wise or like regulation wise, I sit there, I'm either losing interest like super quick, my train of thought goes somewhere else, or I just don't understand it. And I'm not the type of person that sits there and be like, oh man, I need to call someone and ask. And I don't know if it's a pride thing or whatever. I'll try and figure it out. But yeah, a lot lately I've done that. I've had to like reach out to a few buddies and be like, dude, I do not understand what the heck this form says, or can you explain it to me? And they're like, dude, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. So I don't know what it is. Um, and a lot of the VA forms and everything else, they're not the simplest things to understand. Um, yeah, there's a lot of red tape, and they're really trying. I don't know if they're really trying to save money and not help vets by confusing the shit out of them. I'm sorry, cussed. But sometimes they can slow roll stuff, and they're not very helpful. And then when you call them and ask them, "What is this?" they treat you like, "What do you mean? What is this? This is what we're looking for. Go talk to your doctor and get this piece of paperwork so we can rate you at something else." Or like, didn't I just do this? And why am I doing it again? Sometimes it's a little bit aggravating. Let's see what this Tony says. I did not use a veteran service organization attorney or anyone else to help file for VA disability. I researched it and watched a ton of videos, as well as here. Oh my goodness, you didn't use any of them, man. Let's see. When I retired, um, well, I had a dad that retired from the Air Force. He did 20 years, and he was kind of my VA mentor through the whole time that I was in the military. He kept telling me, he was like, "Son, you need to go. If you sprain your ankle, go to the doctor and get it documented, get a diagnosis." And it was constant. He was like, "Oh man, you have a hangnail. Go get a diagnosis. You did this. Get a diagnosis. Get a diagnosis." And then when it came time to retire, he was like, "You need to go and talk to either the DAV, the vet center, um, what was the other one? Oh, the American Legion." He goes, "You need to go down and sit and talk to them and see what they can do to help you to do your disability rating." But when I started to retire, the only thing that was close for me, Once I went on terminal leave, or right before I went on terminal leave, I knew that we were going to move to Texas and we were going to live in a certain area. So I called the DAV, but they didn't have any specialists available. So I called the vet center, and this lady was super nice. She was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you." So I got in touch with the vet center, and she sat down. She was like, "I need a copy of your medical records." And I tell you what, trying to get a copy of your Army medical records through a Navy hospital was fun. I'll just leave it at that. That was a trip. So I got my gigantic, Navy record or Army medical records, probably about that thick, no joke, because I documented everything. I took it to her. We sat down half a day, went through everything. My dad was really good about. He was like, uh, have them do it by category when they print it out, and um, by injury category, everything else by year. So when I asked him to print it out for me, that's what they did, and I took it to her, and she went through it, started filling out the paperwork, and it was a fast process for me because she knew exactly what appointments I needed to get done, and the VA in Fort Worth, they have a wide network of providers that they use, so I was going to appointments like once or twice a week to get it done. So my case, it lasted. I retired. They didn't start doing anything until the day I retired, and I retired on the 1st of September of 2020, and then I was done by April of 21, which was great. Let's see. Yeah, a lot better than my commander in chief. I appreciate that. Yeah, bumbling guy. I threw all my claims at them at once, expecting. Did you really? You expected to get denied on every one of them, or just some of them? And they came back at 100% and classified as housebound. Holy crap! Wow, loss of a creative organ. That's interesting. Sorry, I'm just reading. I've never heard of a creative organ. What is that? Yeah, I ran off a copy of my medical records. Yeah, I did that. That was a pretty cool thing about the. That was really cool about the Navy in Newport. When I asked them to print my medical records, they asked me how I wanted them, and I didn't understand the question when they asked it. Super easy question. Well, how do you want them? I was like, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. So I called my dad, and he was like, tell him this is exactly how you want them. And then I told him, and then I reached out to the vet center and I said, this is what I told him how I want my medical records, and she's like, absolutely. Uh, oh, okay, I gotcha. Creative organ. Oh my goodness, Lawrence. Look at me. The creation organ. I got you. Yeah, that sucks, dude. Yeah, everybody's like, okay, got you now. Yeah, that that's a super freaking. What was the rating on that one? That should have been. But they came back at 100% and classified it. Was that 100% right there? I don't know if that one was. Might as well be because that's kind of your manhood right there, and that leads to depression. Oh, 100% for prostate cancer alone. I gotcha. Yeah. Um, Luckily, knock on wood, no cancer that happened here, and I never had anything that major in life. My biggest ones, my biggest ratings were PTSD, migraines, my shoulders, my back, and then Barrett's esophagus. So, there's like scar tissue on my esophagus, and it was rated at medium high, which was right below the cancer level of high. So that happens with GERDs, the gastrointestinal reflux disease, scarring up the inside of your esophagus. I developed that when I was in the Navy because uh, for everyone that never served in the Navy, when you're out there, They do with this. They call this the pump and dump. They'll dump the trash and they'll pump the bilges and everything else. Well, sometimes during the pump and dump, they'll accidentally suck up some of the fuel and stuff that they're pumping out, and the fuel get into the water line and all that stuff, and you'll taste it when you're drinking out of the water fountains. You're like, damn, this tastes like jet fuel. So sometimes we're sucking down some jet fuel or whatever, ripping up our insides. Yeah, it sucked. God, look at that. See, boom. Said prostate cancer was caused by the jet fuel JP4 that was used in the B-52s. Yeah, so I feel you on that one. When they did the research on it, that's what they said caused the GERDs in my stomach and the Barrett's esophagus was through the Navy when they did all that stuff, drinking the water. So I live with that. That's a couple of the pills that I take before I go to bed, so I don't wake up just like drowning in freaking bile. Not bile, that'd be gross. The acid from my stomach. Yeah. Let's see, Tony. I believe that 100% when I was flying, they told us we were breathing 99% oxygen. They never told us that it was what was in the remaining 0.2%. Right? Don't you have to have a nitrogen mix in that? I also received a LOX. What is LOX? Loss of oxygen? Serviced a lot of locks. Yeah, that was one thing. Guyman, I would love to talk to you about being a pilot just because I think it's cool. And, all this stuff, liquid oxygen too. Yeah. And just, you know, I never got to experience being a pilot. What was flight school like? Um, what was the highest you ever flew? Could you actually see the curvature of the earth up there? Did you see any aliens? No, my father-in-law, he was a crew chief on a small airplane, and I asked him that the other day. I was like, "Hey, you ever see any aliens or any UFOs?" He said no. I don't know if he had to say no and he was just covering it up, or if he never really did. Because I watch a lot of Joe Rogan, and he talks about the aliens and the Navy pilots that saw the Tic Tacs and all those other stuff, and I'm always like, man, super weird, super cool. Not a pilot, just a B-52 crew chief during the Cold War. Man, Offutt Air Force Base must have been your home for a while, I guess. Man, those B-52s still flying, still awesome, still loud as hell, still cool. Sure, let's do it. The highest I saw personally was 47,000 feet. Fastest I went personally was Mach 1.3. Holy crap! Carswell and near Fort Worth. Okay, yeah. Um, is that what the name of the base is? Carswell near Fort Worth? Because I remember, or was it the Navy base, or is it a joint base now? I remember going there. I got an ID card in Fort Worth. I don't remember what it's called. I'm glad I don't have prostate cancer since I worked on helicopters and Harriers. Ooh, Navy guy. Heck yeah. I was on an LHA from 1997 to 2000, the USS Bellawood. A lot of Harriers, a lot of helicopters. That was probably one of my favorite duty stations. The reason why I joined the Navy was to travel, and I got to go see 84 different countries when I was in the Navy. So, the Navy delivered on that part, which was great. I liked flight quarters. I liked watching the Harriers take off. I thought it was weird because I was like, man, a Harrier. These guys are just going to take off vertically and whatever. They didn't always take off vertically, which sucked. They actually flew off the deck. Let's see, Tony. Do you still get nightmares when you hear the word nuclear surety? Yeah, mutually assured destruction had to be on freaking call all the time. I don't know how many times did you ever like, okay, it's time to go, it's time to go, it's about to happen. And the Cold War had to been like stupid, like intense all the time. I wouldn't be able to. I don't know. I don't know how to say that. I don't know if I would be on the edge all that time. I knew the war on terrorism, during my time. My dad really never talked about like the Cold War. He joined in 78, retired in 2000, I think it was. Never really talked about he was a plumber in the Air Force, so it wasn't like he was like super into airplanes or anything else like that. He almost went to what was it? He almost went to the Persian Gulf, but during one of the training exercises they were at, he was working underneath a tent, and he was working on the pipes, and someone turned the pipe on, even though it was red tagged out. In the Navy, they call it red tag. You put a red tag on there, it says don't use. I don't know what they call it in the Air Force. I'd never asked him. But he said it was red tagged out, and they pressurized it, and the pipe came back, hit him in the mouth, knocked out his teeth right before they deployed, so they didn't send him to uh, the Gulf War. So he missed out on that. So he stayed. My father-in-law, he was again a crew chief on a small airplane, and he would fly in and out of Kuwait. So that's the cold. That's the 90s, but that's the only involvement in the Cold War area. I guess it was over by then and ended in what 89, 88, 89. So who knows? Shellback USS Guam LPH Med Cruise 76 US Army Veteran 70. Hell yeah, let's go. An LPH. Let's see what else we got in here. I was involved in two separate. Whoa, really? That's crazy. Two separate broken arrows. Man, I would have nightmares about that. No, thank you. Back in the days when SAC was run so tight that you had a thread in your Oh, those days. If your boots weren't polished to a mirror finish. See. Yep, SAC was on a tight 3510. And just here's my fatigues. Yeah, I remember. Oh, stop sharing. You see how long that took? Man, that took forever. I hit that way back when I wanted to talk about it, and then it just popped up. Yeah, mini LPH is a mini aircraft carrier. So uh, the LPH, sort of like the LHA, flight deck, helicopters, Harriers, and that's about it. LHA, they actually have a well deck in the back. You can flood it and bring in like LCACs, the oh my god, the landing craft. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking it. It's like a hovercraft. They can bring hovercrafts in there. Aren't they mainly? Yeah, they're mainly for helicopters. They fly. Let's see, Thomas. They fly Harriers and off on the now F-35s. Does the F-35 go vertical? Pardon my ignorance. I don't know. After getting out, I really stopped paying attention to cool airplanes. Yeah, helis and vertical lift aircraft. Yeah, vertical takeoff and lift aircraft. Yeah, those are super cool. I loved the Harriers. They were super loud though. Oh my goodness. I tell you, if you didn't have earplugs in and Mickey Mouse ears on, they hurt my ears so bad. But they were so fun to watch. Especially and the sea stallions, those big ass CH-53s, super cool. I loved them. I wasn't really into the attack helicopters, the Cobras, the Apaches, but the big ones were super cool. Just like when I joined the army, I didn't know that the Chinook was the fastest helicopter in the army. I thought that would be an Apache or a Kyle or something, but the Chinook is like the fastest. I thought that was cool. Marines love Harriers and crayons. They do. They do. We have a Marine detachment here at KU. So KU is pretty cool. They have all four services: the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. They have ROTCs for them all, even though the Marines fall under the Navy and they hate it. But every once in a while you'll see like packets of crayons just put in the freezer or the refrigerator as jokes, and they like it sometimes, and sometimes they get mad. Heard the Marines say they both taste good. Yeah, I think the gunnery sergeant that we have now, he likes to tell people red is his favorite, just to just to get under everybody's skin when they're trying to actually make fun of him. He's like, "Yeah, red's my favorite." Landing platform helicopter. The Guam was only one of only two Harrier qualified LPHs. So, well, the Dubuque was an LPD. What is the other LPH? Oh, I know this one. Military trivia. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and like freaking try and remember. But yeah, yeah, the Dubuque was an LPD. I don't know if they ever flew or landed a Harrier on it, but I knew they flew helicopters off of it. That was in our strike group. Anyway, that's pretty cool. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get off here and go find out why my kids have been so quiet. I don't know if it's because they know I'm on and they're being respectful, which would be super nice. I'd appreciate it. But I appreciate everybody stopping by. It's now an hour and 16 minutes. Heck yeah. It didn't go the way we planned, but still great. I love talking to you guys, and I want to do it again. So I want to try and do something like this on Sundays. Just sit and talk and go through other stuff. I'm going to try and get a couple guests on this week. I talked to two people and they said, yeah, let's do it. So look out for that. I'm going to try and focus my videos mostly on helping veterans and talking about the Veterans Affairs. So it'll probably be like how to get this VA ready, how to do this, probably talk about VRNE and all that stuff. So yeah, again, I want to just like direct you all to, because it's cool and I'm happy that I have one, but Blackout Coffee. If you guys are interested in coffee and you want a discount, go to Blackout Coffee, use Camo for 20% off. Blackout Coffee is delicious. And yeah, I would help, research info, anything you guys want to help me out with, I'll take it. I will tell you that I am a very humble person and I take help from everyone and I don't think I know everything. So, you know, this is a channel for everyone. If collaboration is what you want to do, I'm going to do it. And yeah, please pass the word to your friends if you find value in it. Like and subscribe, hit that bell button so you don't miss anything. Again, thanks for coming. And my new outro phase until our next cup of coffee. Cup of coffee. There you go. Until our next cup of coffee. I'll see you guys later. Take care.